All right, welcome to Team Rise and Fit team call 1020 of 17. I am so glad to see all of your shining faces. And tonight we have some big information. We have announcements. We have a huge national wake-up call that we had this last week, and I have another kind of lesson to go with it. So I hope you have your notepad with you. I hope you have pen and paper. I hope that you are ready to take some action because I'm going to teach something. We are going to do it together, and then you're going to go take action on it. Okay, so this is going to be a very much implementation kind of night. And so I hope that as you're jumping on, as you're watching this later, that you are able to take action with us and come away with a finished product at the end. So I'm going to share my screen with you and we will get started. So welcome to, get the right thing up. Welcome to our team call. Tonight we're going to be talking about sharing our story. And I can no longer see you guys, so speak up if you can't see your, can you see that? Jess, Misty?
Yes.
Yes. Awesome. Okay, so now that I'm in full screen mode, I can't see you guys. So just pipe in if you have questions or things in the chat box, whatever. I won't be able to see that, so just let me know. All right. So tonight we're going to be going through sharing our story and what that looks like, what that means, and how we can walk away from this call with an actionable post that we're going to share our story with. So get some practice. But first, some announcements. There are some big things happening here at the end of the year, and corporate tells us there's going to be tons more amazing things are coming. But this is just kind of some short snippets. So November to Remember is coming up, and we actually have until, I think, November 1st to register for it. It kicks off November 1, and it actually kicks off October 31st is when the double time thing starts. But November to Remember is the teams of two. In the past, in the fall, there's been like Fall Classic and kind of like Team Cup again in the fall, but this year they're doing teams of two, not bigger teams, but just teams of two for SC Prize, which is a hat, and then really they've done a lot of different things this time around. So it's a smaller team. It's just two people, like two success partners pushing each other, checking in with each other every day, making sure they're growing their businesses. They've split it out instead of the whole company being this huge competition together and like these certain same people always winning. You can pretty much name off the people like Amy Silverman and Melanie Mitro and like these people that are going to be like the top people that are going to be doing this. They've decided to split out into 7 different regions. They have all the regions across the United States, and then they have one winner in the UK, and they will have one winner in the Puerto Rico. And I think there's six or seven winners in Canada as well. So lots of winners are going to be here because they've got all these different regions, and so there's like mini competitions in all the regions now. So there'll be up to 7 winners in each region. And those 7 teams will all get $2,000 per team for being the top 7 teams. And then the top team in that region will get $50,000 to a school charity of their choice. So when you register, you'll have to, it says optional, like who you want your charity to be. You can fill that in later. But if you are one of those top 7 teams in the region, you will get $2,000 as a team, essentially $1,000 a person. And that goes to you. That doesn't have to go to a charity. So that's a huge bonus. And now with like all of the big superstars kind of split up all over the place, it definitely leaves more room for others to get in the mix. And you can't win if you don't play. So make sure you get into November to Remember. At least just partner up with somebody and see if you can push yourself to reach your big goals by the end of the year. Double Time is a big part of that. Double Time is a big launch happening November 1 as well. And it's all about bringing people together. It's partnering up. It's being a part of that community. So anyone see the connection here yet? And so they're going to award Double Time all access challenge packs. So there's a Double Time challenge pack, and people were like, well, what's this Double Time challenge pack? Well, first of all, it's going to be worth 3 SC points because they really want this to be like a major launch to this program. And the Double Time challenge pack which is DTCP. I did a lot of acronyms in this, so follow through with me here, okay? The Double Time challenge pack is what really is it's all access challenge pack plus a Double Time ball plus a Double Time cup plus the containers and the Shakeology and whatnot. That's for $160. If they want the DVDs with it, they can get the $180 Double Time Challenge Pack, which is everything mentioned above, except you add the DVDs and you add another cup. So you, for $20 more, you're getting another cup and the DVD set on top of the all access and the ball and the containers and all the good stuff. So that is something to be on the watch for. That also starts October 31st through November 30th. So you actually have opportunity, if the time crunch is there, that you can earn Success Club points for Double Time on October 31st, and before the month runs out. So keep that in mind as well. But definitely keep talking about Double Time, and I know the sneak peek happened, but keep talking it up. There's a Double Time challenge pack with the Daily Sunshine in it. So if you have somebody that's already doing the double, or already has the all access challenge pack, and they maybe want to get Daily Sunshine for their child or whatnot, that could be an option too. And we do get Success Club points for just regular Daily Sunshine as well. All right. The next thing is the Trina call. If you did not listen to the Team Fit and Free call from this last Tuesday, please go listen. It's about having 2 feet in, and you are definitely missing out if you're not listening to it, regardless of what level of coaching you are. This is definitely something that you need to go listen to if you have not done so already. And unless you've been living under a rock, you now know that the UK initiative launched today. And as of 10 o'clock this morning, when I was on a call with some others, they had over 600 coaches already signed up in their network, and that things were going smoothly and things were going well. So if you have any family, friends, or coworkers, or any connections to the UK, which is England, Scotland, Northern Ireland, and Wales, if any of those 4 countries, then you can reach out and connect them, and they can be signed up with Beachbody. So there are a couple different options, and Julianne's posted those in the Happy and Fit page. So go ahead and check those out. If you have questions, let me know. I've been reaching out to people from the UK for a while, just kind of slowly adding to my network. And I've been kind of bold with some invites lately. So they all said no at this point, but it's a start, and I'm practicing my rejection skills. So anyway, December 16th, make sure this date is on your calendar. If those of you that are far, far away are able to make it, great. But we'll be doing something local here in Iowa, and site to be determined, because we really want to figure out, have a good handle on how many people we're going to be hosting. And then, and depending on where the majority are at, then we'll do something centrally located to them. But mark your calendars for December 16th for a team event coming up soon. All right, I know it's a busy time of year. All right, so now it's getting into our the meat and the bones of the call tonight. So Ashley Laughlin, your homework for tonight coming into this was that you listened to the National Wake Up Call for this last week, and it's from Ashley Laughlin, and she really talking about sharing your story. And I'm going to kind of dive into number 1 on the screen tonight. She talked about sharing your story, she talked about asking a question, and she talked about extending an invite. And a lot of the things that I'm just going to kind of highlight things quickly from her National Wake Up Call, but kind of a fast summary of it. And then we'll kind of dive into the meat of number 1, sharing your story. But, she has said her 3 parts. And then, so for number 1, becoming a storyteller, people like to follow good storytellers. People connect to good storytellers. She really talked about using her social media, not as a podium, all about herself, but as a platform for starting a conversation. And I thought that was really interesting the way she said that, because a lot of times, we tell coaches all the time, share your story, share your story, share your struggles, but we don't really teach them how to do that. And by default, people start to go like, hey, here's my shake, and hey, I did a workout today, it was this, da, 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 da. And what they really are doing is just using their social media as a podium and talking all about what their experience is and how Beachbody, and kind of marketing Beachbody. And what we really need to be doing is using our social media as a platform to starting conversations around how it can help them. So kind of relating and stories and helping the people see themselves in our shoes so that they want to do it as well, connecting with people. And, she she referenced Shailene Johnson's speech at Summit quite a bit. She said, you need to be captivating. You need to be a good storyteller, somebody that you kind of fall into, like you're just wanting more from. Facts tell, stories sell. So instead of saying something like, I did my max 30 workout this morning and man, did I sweat, it could be something along the lines of, 2 years ago when I would have pushed play on my workout with my trainer, I blah, 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 blah. And like you have your story that you're telling, kind of take them down the rabbit trail a little bit of what it is that what you've done, and then talk about how they can join you as well. But put some story with it. And then, social media is for social things. So building relationships, building connections around things, and making sure that you are relatable to people, and sharing your struggles gives you credibility and makes you relatable in general. So if all they're ever seeing is your highlight reel, if all they're ever seeing you do is, push through your workout and come out happy on the other side, like Jill hit it right on the head last night in her previous call, and in her post yesterday, was that you need to show that you're struggling, and look at all the love that came pouring out on her for that. You need to be able to relate to people. So sharing memories and letting people relate to it, helping them know and get to know you. Not using Beachbody language at all in your post, trying to make it not about Beachbody, making it about you and how they can connect to you as their coach and build these types of relationships. So we are Beachbody coaches, but we are our own CEO. It doesn't say Beachbody anywhere in my Coach Online office in the name of my account. It has Kim Meyer on it, and yours has your name on it. So it's up to you on how you're going to run your business. If you want to brand off of somebody else, fine. But you're going to have better luck if you brand you and they get to know who you are and share your stories. Okay. And so the second thing she talked about was asking questions, getting them to engage with you. Like I said, like Shailene talks about, facts tell, stories sell, likes wear thin, questions for the win. So making sure that you're asking questions, starting a conversation within your thread, helping people connect to each other and helping people connect to you. Asking simple things like advice on something, having them tell you their stories, funny things that their kids have done, or that, kind of poking fun at yourself a little bit and having them share back and forth. Kind of like if you were at a party and you were talking about something and then somebody else pipes in on something they've done and somebody else pipes on something they've done. Create that kind of environment on your social media. Have them share their transformations. Have them share different things about their life too, and so that people can get to know everybody, and it's a social event. And then the third one is extending an invite, and that can be something as simple as just putting on the bottom something about joining me. If you can do this too, something along those lines. Make it subtle so that Facebook's algorithm isn't like trying to like suck you into the spam filter, but make sure that you let them know in so many words that they can join you as well, and they can have this type of relationship. And being relatable to them helps them see themselves in your shoes, and they're going to help with that a lot better. So this is where things are really going to get we're in the nitty gritty now. So I've just kind of word vomited a lot of summary to you about the National Wake Up Call about Ashley Lachlan, and I hope you've listened to it to get some other feedback and some other highlights from that. But now we're really going to kind of get into the meat of the story part. So like I said, we're going to really focus on number one, the story part of it. And she talked about in the National Wake Up Call using a web. And so she created a circle web of things that helped her talk about her struggles and kind of pinpoint some specific things that she could talk about around her struggles. Today, we're going to do a kind of 3-column or maybe 4-column if you really take it to the far end. But I want you to take a piece of paper that you have and divide it into 3 equal columns. Okay. So do that. And I'm going to take myself off here so I can at least see you maybe. Maybe I can do this. How's that? Can you see that? And you can see me too? Okay. So if you've got your pen and paper ready, I want you to divide it into 3 columns. And so the first column is going to be people. So I'm going to give you about 5 minutes. I'm going to set my timer for about 5 minutes, and we're going to write down as many people that you know that have had an impact on you or have caused some sort of memory in your life. So you're just like writing down anybody that you can think of, all the people in your life. And you're going to probably just keep just writing all the way down the side of your paper, all the people that you know, the people have had some impact, big or small, doesn't matter, positive or negative, doesn't matter. But just take some time right now to make a list of people that have been a part of your life. And usually people start with like their family members or things like that. But just go ahead and start writing a list of people from your life. Wish I had some music playing or something. Music for your time. If it's distracting, I can turn it off. Pull shoots up from the ground and make it May. And I can't lift the floor, paint blue across the sky, erase the gray. Yeah, here is snowflake, perfectly made, heaven falling, dancing its way into my hands. I hear it call. The importance of breathing, the importance of waiting it out, the importance of seeing the beauty right here. Take a deep breath, baby, let it in, let it out. The importance of being right here, right now. A seed at the start, then soon a beating heart, fingers and tongue. 9 months of a prayer, till you cry and reach for air, a blooming rose. Like a snowflake, perfectly made, heaven burning, dancing your way into my hands, and I am learning the importance of breathing, the importance of waiting it out, the importance of seeing the beauty right here. Take a deep breath, baby, let it in, let about 1 minute. The importance of being. Who knows what's going under the soil? Who knows what's gonna be born in our hearts? Well, I don't wanna hold my breath through the waiting, and I don't wanna miss what God might be saying through
cold. What beauty to behold.
Okay, so we've got a list of people now, right? So now that you have a list of people, now in the second column, you're going to write events. So this is all about generating stories for posts that you can be making, things that you can be sharing with people. So now when you go through this list of people, I went through and wrote a whole bunch of people's names too. So now in your second column, next to those people's names, you're going to write all the events or events that could have happened or have happened in your life. You know, the big things, the small things, whatever. So like, for instance, like next to Joshua, my husband, that's an easy one. You know, I think you've been through so much with your spouse or whatever. I've like chuck wagon races, our wedding day, our first date, teaching together, workout journey, Mexico, when we went on our trip, you know, like just all the different things, like Chicago. I could put all kinds of different events, things that have happened in our life. You know, it could be something as simple as like buying a car together, or it could be something like buying our first house, moving to a new town. Like it could be any event that has happened in your life, and kind of the things that you think of, or those things that you think of when you see that person's name. What are some of the things that you've done with those people? So you'll get another 5 more minutes to kind of start writing events with the people that are listed there. And you don't have to write a ton of stuff, maybe like 1 or 2 things if you have for the different people on your list. So just go down your list and think of at least one event for each of the people on your list, right? See if I can find some more music. Hey, Britt.
Hey, hello.
So the first thing we started with, we just kind of recapped the National Wake Up Call. And then they went back, and now they've made this big long list of people on the one side of the paper. They took a piece of paper and split it into 3 parts.
Okay.
And on the one side, they made this long list of people. And now what we're doing is, after we've made this long list of people, is we are going through and putting events, things that have happened in our life, things we've done with these people, in the second column. So the first column is as many people as you can think of that have had some impact in your life or that you have a memory with, and then the second column is the event that goes with it. So like I shared the example of like my husband Joshua is on my people list, and the things that we've done, you know, like I could say chuck wagon races, our wedding, our first family house, like we went to Mexico, like different things that you've done with these people. So try to match an event with the list of people.
Okay.
No one recognizes me anymore. I've been afraid of love. It just don't hypnotize me anymore. Colors fade and flowers die in every hand but yours. This is my red sea, and I'm drowning. So come my way, come my way, amazing grace. They could see me now, pile of a little girl on the floor, finger painting and serenading the ghosts outside my door. The shine's worn off of every hand I've ever held by yours. This is my red sea, and I'm drowning. So come my way, come my way, amazing grace. This is my gallery, and I'm falling. So walk my way, amazing grace. I'm not looking for a ship to sail away on. No message in the stars. I'm tired of trying to find a road to write my name on. Just wanna know who you are. Turn the light in, away from shadow. My fingers reaching out. Broken open, mercy to fill. The only way I know how. This is my Red Sea, and I'm drowning. So come my way, amazing grace. This is my gallery, and I'm so walk my way, amazing grace.
Okay. Time's up there. Okay, so now in your third column, so we made a big list of all the people, and we made of all the people that we've had impact life. And I know that you can go back and do this activity again, and you can add more people to your list. This is really just a generator of things. So you have your events in your life, the things that go with those people, and the last step is stories. So it's about writing a storyline that goes with that. So for an example, Josh is my husband. He was on my list as a person. I went with the Mexico thing. We went to Mexico for our 5-year anniversary. And the story I can tell about that is that one, I got sick on the plane. So that's one story I could tell. Another story is that when we got there, I had all these mom suits with me, and he was like, "We're in Mexico with my wife for a 5-year anniversary. I want to see you." And I was so ashamed to go down to the pool, even in my mom suit. So I actually spent like an hour rummaging through like the little shop there to find a bikini, which I was horrified to wear. But I did it because he wanted me to. So like I can use that story eventually to share part of my journey, if that makes sense. So now just go through and think of the stories you can tell. And we have about 9 minutes left of the Zoom. So what I want you to just do is quickly, we'll take like 3 minutes and go through those events and think about like what kind of stories you can tell about those events. Think of it like if we were all sitting around the table talking, and somebody brought up something about like weddings, let's say like a topic, okay? And then everyone kind of shares a memory or a story that they have about weddings, and that you can come up with any way that you would speak about it, that you would share that conversation with somebody, you would share that memory, share that story. That's kind of what the story starter that I want you to kind of think about and write down. And then when we get to the end of that, if we get cut off here or whatever, then what the plan is to actually start starring a few of those, of things that you can actually use as a part of your as a part of a post someday. So like when, even like Ashley talked about how she, now that you've brainstormed your list and you have your stories to tell, connect them to your journey, and how can you share those? When Ashley was talking about how her grandma would make her the pastries in those sweet rolls every single morning, and how that developed her sweet tooth and her excessive weight as a young child. And then now she takes that memory, and she shared it much more eloquently in the National Wake Up Call, but she was talking about how she shares not just the facts, but she shares the actual story. So like waking up at my grandma's house on the weekdays, she would always have these scrumptious, amazing sweet rolls ready for me for before school. And every morning I would enjoy a sweet roll with her. And I had such great memories of that. If I didn't have a sweet roll, I would have the toaster strudel. Like I can give it to you verbatim because it's a story, it's a memory, it's connected, right? And so that's the kind of thing that we want to connect to our people, the people that are following our page. We want to let them know who we are. So if you can come up with a storyline, if you can come up with a memory and write it in like a story, you can be a good storyteller. You have, like this quote says here, good content isn't about good storytelling. It's about telling a true story well. And you're the only one that knows your story. You're the only one that knows how things work for you. So we're going to take about 3-ish minutes, and maybe you come up with one event, or you come up with one story, and maybe if we've got some time, we'll round robin it, or we'll just jump back on if this one ends, and we'll come back to that one. Okay. So right now, just kind of go through your list of events and make a story, or come up with a story. Remember something that you could talk about as a storyline for one of the things that happened. And then eventually you can figure out how to wrap it into your journey. Okay.
The smell of bacon, thick in the kitchen, juice from an orange dotting the floor, pillows and blankets, giggles from children, echoing off of mom and dad's door, and space.
And really, like, I'm listening to the song, she's telling a story too. Like, that's what good music is too, right? Telling a story, that's how you remember the words. Like, she's talking about a Saturday morning. Like, how can you become a good storyteller? Connect people.
And breath to breathe, that's how I know I can let go. Life's moving slow on a Saturday. Boxes unchecked, briefcase unpacked. First thing to do is nothing at all. Room to listen, hear where our hearts have been. Time to take pleasure in all things small. And space in the day to go outside and play. And dreams to dream, that's how I know I'm not alone. Life to its full on a Saturday. Space in my soul to let go of control and live in love. Mondays are cruel, and I need the fuel, full from the Sabbath of Saturday.
Okay. Who has a story to tell? We've got 3 minutes and 26 seconds left, but I would love to hear who has something short that they could share, they could talk about. Who has a person, who has an event that goes with that person, who has a story they could talk about that person. Anyone?
Trying to get me looking better here. So you can see me. I can do something quick. I don't quite have it all written out yet, but one of my very best friends, right before I started this journey, had told me that we had gone to lunch, and she had told me that, this is just who we are. This is just who we are these days. We're moms. We're not going to be basically fit again. Just basically any hope of having yourself back at all anymore is gone. And just be okay with it, because this is just who we are now, you know. And that like, I've taken it to heart. You know, I've never forgotten that conversation, because I'm like, no, I don't have to be like this. I can get myself back. You know, if I just start working out and doing, you know, trying to be better, I don't have to live like this, you know? So, and since then, she's been trying to get herself back now too. And so, I don't know. So I guess it's kind of all over the place there, but somehow I can form it.
You have a person, you don't have to name the person in your post, but you could.
Oh, I
you have
won't.
a person, you have your event. I was out with coffee with a friend, and we were talking about how, oh, this is just how life is now. But you know, and then you can tell some of the story a little bit, and then kind of your thought process and how you saw something happening, and now it's different. You don't have to be that way, and you want others to know the same thing. Like that's your story. That could be lead right into, and then it ties to your journey as well.
Like kick off of it, basically.
Yep. And then it goes into from there, you know, just going off of like what hers was is, you know, first you have your story, and then you have your question. So like, do you feel like this too? Like that could just be a simple question in there. Like when I got to this point as mom, like I thought this was it. You know, have you ever felt the same way? Do you feel like that now? You know, like those simple kinds of questions, like prompting a response. And then, you know, you share a little bit more of your story, and then ask them to join you, or ask them to reach out, or, you know, we can do this together, you know, something like that. There's your post, your story that you connect with, that you've let them know about you, the questions in the middle that get them to respond to you and reach out and talk to you. And they don't all have to be deep posts. They can be something funny. They can be something, you know, just unique and different about you. You know, like Chris's dwarf post that she made the other day about the book. Yeah. Like that was good, because she was asking questions. You can get people to train to like interact with you. And then when you do something